this Friday at about 9:15 a.m. One of our officers patrolling down the 1600 block of Kalamazoo was flagged down by an individual, said an armed man was just seen going into the Walgreens down there. Obviously, we're coming off a couple rough days where we had 2 individuals shot and killed, including a 30-year-old man and a 15-year-old girl. Gun violence, and specifically violent crime in the southeast side of the city specifically, is one of our biggest priorities, if not the biggest priorities, because we understand the impact that gun violence can have. So clearly my officers have the direction that is proactively what they're going to do, address gun violence. A very scary situation where an individual seen going in, verified, he comes out, he has an AR-15 around his neck, he has a 9mm handgun on his hip. From an outsider's point of view, you could look at a potential active shooter situation, mass casualty incident, but we recognize that we have to do the full investigation. So that's where this video starts, where an investigation is going to take place by the officers. They handle it extremely well. They're fantastic at de-escalating. They take what could have been a deadly officer-involved shooting to a very peaceful conclusion. Unfortunately, during this entire incident, a few individuals insert themselves in a situation in an illegal, improper manner. Officers, as you will see, go above and beyond to address those individuals in a respectful way, to get them to comply with their lawful orders, because they are placing themselves and everyone else in more danger. And then you'll see, of course, there's been a video circulating online of a use of force incident then, where as officers were attempting to take one individual into custody, second individual interfered with that arrest, was subsequently taken into custody. Easiest message you can say, I've said it time and time again: comply now, complain later. Every single, and this is probably social media video number 15 that I've been asked to respond to. This is the first time I've done a press conference just because it got so much attention. Every single one, the first question I ask when somebody brings it to my attention, okay, did the individuals comply with the lawful instructions of the officers? Well, no, but he shouldn't have punched him. He shouldn't have done this. He shouldn't have done that. Comply now, complain later. As you can see from the video, every single one of my officers who responds to 911 calls, they are armed with a body-worn camera. We have in-car camera in every one of those cars, so there is other angles. There is so much accountability. I am more than happy to review a use of force, to examine it and say, absolutely, we need better training. We need to discipline this officer. Maybe this officer isn't suitable for police work. We hold our officers to the highest standards, certainly in the state of Michigan, possibly across the country. We really do, and it is frustrating for me that some people in the city of Grand Rapids don't realize how high a standards they're held to. So understand our accountability system, second to none. The message would be, comply with those lawful instructions. If you think that they were unlawful, if you think they were improper, rude, etc. And we just watched quite a bit of instructions, maybe stern, certainly no one was rude. But if you believe that those instructions were improper, bring it to my attention and we will absolutely address it. But do not, especially when you don't have the whole context of what's going on, do not attempt to interfere at the scene. As a department, as a community, what you tolerate, you condone, and we're not going to tolerate having an adult male standing behind an individual armed with 2 deadly firearms, given lawful instructions over and over and over and over and over, and not hold him accountable. And then again, when that other individual inserted himself in the situation of this already difficult situation with that first individual who was getting arrested, they were clearly tussling right here. That was a large man. As you saw, I don't think that punch landed. I think it was a glancing blow, the one that you saw there. But even if it did land, I don't know that that would have been effective in addressing that situation. Eventually, the officers tasered him. It was a very dangerous situation, and it didn't have to be that way. So generally speaking, when a video comes out and gets all this attention, it's not a best practice for a police department to react to social media video. Because I look at something like this, I looked at there was one 2 weeks ago of an officer who attempted to lift somebody up, and they got struck in the head, and we want all the body-worn camera video. That's a lot of work. How I worked on this one was I stayed up till about 1 a.m. on Father's Day. I took time away from my kids, and I looked at every single video that I could. I alerted my records team to come in early and to start redacting, because we could release all of it, but we'd have to blur a lot of faces. We'd have to do a lot of CJIS redaction. So this was a lot of work. We were working on it till 2:45, 3 maybe. 3:15, just to get it done in time. And how I picked the ones that most clearly showed everything. But having said that, if the criminal case proceeds against these two individuals, they'll have access to everything. And I think, I mean, obviously, I think the video speaks for itself, but if there's something else out there, they'll have access to everything.